Hello, everyone. This is Nathan Bridges from Nathan's Nuggets, and today I'm with San Jose State quarterback Alec Trujillo. Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, sir. Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. I'll start with my first question. How old are you when you started playing football?
So when I started playing tackle football, I was 7 years old. Um, so that's about when I started playing tackle football. But I guess you could say I played like flag football and whatnot a little before that. And even before getting into flag, I was always playing like with my older brother and his friends and my cousins and all that stuff. So maybe I guess you could say around like 5 years old, but I really started playing tackle when I was 7.
See, you've always loved football, like from a young age.
Oh, absolutely. So actually, my first sport was baseball. I was too young to play it at the time, but my dad would always take me out to train me for baseball and stuff. And my older brother, he was like, "Well, why don't you play football?" And I was like, "What's football?" You know what I mean? And and so he pretty much introduced me to it. And yeah, just from then on, I kind of stuck with it. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much what got me into it.
So your older brother, he introduced you to it.
Yeah. Because so he's played football, pretty much his whole life as well.
That's cool how he introduced it to you.
No, definitely, yeah. He actually played quarterback as well. Um, so I was, whenever I was 7, my first position was running back, and then whenever I was 8 years old, the next year, I played receiver, and then we didn't do too well. We had like 0-10, 1-9 season, both of those times. And then whenever I became quarterback the next year, whenever I was 9 years old, because my older brother was like, "Well, you can get the ball in your hands every play." So, and I did that, and ever since then, we've always had like a winning record. So it's pretty cool.
So ever since you made the switch, you're on the winning records.
Yep.
Did you play any other sports?
Right. So my so I told you kind of like my first sport, I guess, was baseball, but um, I I played baseball in middle school for a while, and then I wrestled. So wrestling was like huge for me. I actually wrestled from whenever I was like maybe 4 years old all the way up to my freshman year, and so my freshman year I was just kind of like, I want to focus in on football. But no, yeah, wrestling was a huge one that I did.
So all your sports that you did, you all started them at a young age.
Uh, yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. So yeah, pretty much. I never really thought of it like that, but yeah.
With baseball, wrestling, and football.
Yep, exactly. And I played soccer for a little while for the city when I was little, but it was around the same time as football, so I never would really make the games. And there was one time I actually made the soccer game because I think we had a bye week for football or something, and so it was like the only game I made, but the other team didn't have enough players, so we had to like all like I think we had to do like rock paper scissors or something. I couldn't really remember, and then I ended up having to be on the other team.
So the one game you're able to make, you can't even play for your own team.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it like starting for Exeter as a freshman?
Man, that was cool. It was a really cool experience because ever since I was little, I always wanted to be a freshman on varsity, and that was always a real big goal of mine. So during the summer, I was doing 7-on-7 with the varsity team and whatnot, and all my friends were on the JV team and stuff because we all just came in as freshmen. Um, and then so my first 3 to 4 games, I was on JV at Exeter, and then after that, I ended up getting pulled up and starting. Um, and our first game was against Mission Oak out of Tulare. So that it was a cool experience because I had never we Exeter has never beaten a Tulare team, I don't think ever. And we ended up beating them, 42-21.
That's crazy. And that, like, as soon as you got pulled up from JV, you're the starter.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was cool. It was definitely cool. Like there were some injuries as well, but once those guys came back, they just let me roll with the starting spot. So it was cool.
So it was a cool experience, and you got to be part of the first team from Exeter to beat a Tulare school.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Just the whole Exeter experience because, I'd known most of those guys since I was little. I grew up in Exeter, super small town. Um, population's only like 10,000 people, but yeah. So whenever I became starting there, the games just started getting packed because, I came out on the newspaper and stuff like Visalia Times Delta and all that stuff. And they're like, freshman QB, earned start against Tulare School and stuff like that. And so it became packed. And I actually remember my first touchdown as well, which is a funny story. So my first touchdown, I actually ran it in. And I remember like to celebrate, like my receiver is like, yo, like get up, get up. So, I jump up with them like, I probably didn't get that high. I felt like I got high at the time, but, well, I was a freshman. We'll see. But anyway, so I went up, we chest bumped or whatever. And I just remember falling straight down on my butt. And like I hear the whole stands just laughing. I was like, that's so embarrassing. I can't believe I just did that. But no, I wouldn't take it back. It was awesome.
That's funny for your first touchdown on varsity.
Oh, definitely. It was hilarious. It was embarrassing as well.
So there was a lot of hype for you, like as soon as you were starting and the games got packed.
Yeah, pretty much. There was just a lot of buzz kind of around the valley at the time. But it was just a super small school. So, and it's the only high school in Exeter. So it would just pretty much get really packed, and places would shut down and whatnot during Friday nights. It was cool.
I know it was a long commute for you to go to Memorial. What made you transfer to Memorial, and what was the thought process in transferring to Memorial?
Right. So actually, so as I mentioned, like Exeter is a super small school. I don't think anyone's ever really gone D1 out of there. And my goal was to earn a Division I scholarship, and I just knew that I wouldn't get the exposure that I needed out of Exeter. So I just kind of explored some options, and I actually had two friends of mine that played at Memorial, and they were like, "Hey, like, you looking to transfer?" And I was like, "Yeah," like, it was right after season, and they're like, "Oh, you should come check out Memorial." So, I did, and there are a few options, but I ended up ultimately choosing Memorial not only because of football program, but a big part of it had to do with the faith aspect of it. It's a Catholic school, and I was like, it's just kind of cool. I'd be able to take a religion class, go to mass and whatnot, get closer to God, and so that was also a really big part of it. So that's ultimately what guided my decision.
So like it could help you get the right exposure you need to go D1, and you already had some friends over there, and then also like that it's a Catholic school.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Faith played a huge part in it as well.
So that was a huge part in your decision to transfer to Memorial since there are a couple other schools.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. So, like I had also thought about transferring to Tulare Union or Dinuba because they Tulare Union was a big school. They were always getting guys out, and then Dinuba they had gotten a few quarterbacks out like McMarion, Isaac Lepke. He ended up going to Wyoming, which is another friend of mine. But yeah, I'm so glad I went to Memorial. It was a great spot for me.
So Tulare Union and Dinuba, and like you said, Marcus McMarion, he went to Dinuba.
Yeah. He went to Dinuba and then ended up getting a scholarship over to Oregon State, and then ended up later on at Fresno State. But yeah, so him, and then as I mentioned earlier, my friend Isaac Lepke, yeah, he ended up at Wyoming, which is cool. I think now he's at Fort Lewis College. But
That's
no,
cool.
yeah.
And
So
Tulare
go ahead.
Union had Casimir Allen, right?
Yeah. They had Casimir at the time. Uh, no, yeah, Casimir's my guy. He's
So
definitely my guy.
so you're close with him.
Yeah. We're actually like anytime I'm back down in the valley, and I'm not in San Jose, I'm always throwing with him and a few other guys, local, because my family still lives in Exeter, um, and so the whole time I was going to school in Memorial, I still lived in Exeter, and Tullare's like 20 minutes or so from Exeter, rather than going all the way to Fresno, an hour away, which I would do sometimes with my QB coach, Coach Hunter.
So you didn't throw like with any people that much in Fresno.
Um, I mean, I did. I think it's just when I go back down, more recently, during the quarantine or the break, all that stuff that we've had, um, it would just be a lot easier to throw with Casimir and those guys because they were 20 minutes from me rather than going a full hour.
It was like shorter drive.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
What was the San Joaquin Memorial football program like?
Shoot, um, it was different. It was a cool experience. It was definitely a cool experience. Because there was just a lot of guys that I had played with whenever I was little. There was me, Leonard Glass, Josh Kelly, Connor Gomez, Magdalena,
Jalen
uh,
McMillan.
Jalen McMillan, T.J. Hall, who's there for his last season
He,
this year. But there's just a bunch of guys. I made a bunch of really good friendships. I'm gonna have lifelong friendships there. You know, um, I still have some of my best friends there at Memorial. Uh, yeah, there's just a lot of guys. All those guys that I mentioned. My other friend Josh Medina, he played with me. We're real close too, and it was cool. It was definitely a cool experience. Just real brotherly. We all kind of had each other's backs, no matter what was going on.
so it was like a brotherhood there, and like you got to play with all those guys, like you mentioned, Connor Gomez, Leonard Glass, Magdalena, Jalen McMillan, TJ, all of them.
Right. There was talent all across the board. You know what I mean? And we had a great O line at the time. We had great coaches. My QB coach, Coach Hunter, he was also the offense coordinator at the time. And just scheme wise, he was just a genius and just way beyond the high school level. And we were running college concepts and stuff like that. So we pretty much had like a college playbook, and it was really cool. I would say that prepared not only me but the rest of those guys who ended up getting scholarships, and even the other guys who went JUCO. It ended up preparing most of us for college ball.
So prepared all of you guys well for college.
Yep, absolutely.
I know your senior year you went to state but lost on a controversial call. What was that experience like for you?
Man, it was going to state, and because that's always been a goal, you know what I mean, and that's something Memorial has never done. In my junior year, we were close to that too. We ended up losing in semis, um, but it was definitely a cool experience, and that, like you said, it was a controversial call, and it sucks. But no, it was a cool experience, and I'm glad I got to experience that with a bunch of my friends over there and teammates, and yeah, I actually have a teammate over here at San Jose who played on the other team, Londale, and always just tries to throw little jabs here and there over it. But no, it was a good experience though, for sure.
So it was a good experience to go to state that Memorial hadn't done for a while.
Right, they hadn't done it at all, which was cool. And the state semifinal game, so the game to win to qualify for state, we actually ended up playing Tulare Union, and that game was just the hype for that game was insane as well. But it was definitely cool.
That's cool that you got to play Tulare Union to go to state.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And they had really, really good players too. Nathan Lamb, he was there at the time. He was playing quarterback. There was Bryson Allen, who's at COS right now. He's getting recruited by some D1 schools. He's actually another one of the guys I throw with all the time over there in Visalia.
Wasn't Jalen McMillan out for this state game though?
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds kind of funny, but it actually it was pretty much like, have you seen the movie Friday Night Lights?
I don't know, but I've heard of it.
Okay. So in Friday Night Lights, there's this running back named Boobie Miles who's like, their best player and all this stuff. And he ends up getting hurt before the state game. And the quarterback, Mike Winchell, the very last play, he runs the ball in and tries to score and doesn't quite make it. And that's how they lose the game. So it was almost identical to to that. So it's just kind of funny to think about. But no, yeah, Jalen, he ended up getting hurt the week going into the game.
So it was like Friday Night Lights, kind of pretty much similar story.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny to think about.
When did the recruiting process begin for you?
Man, so the recruiting process really began junior year. That's when it really began because there was always coaches coming out to Memorial and watching our practices, and we'd set up different throwing sessions and stuff like that, just so they would be able to see me throw or see other guys run routes or whatever it was. So really junior year, and I ended up actually getting all of my offers in the month of May. So I got all my offers within that month. So it was just kind of it was a crazy month for sure. Um, but no, yeah. So definitely my junior year. It was a cool experience too.
That's crazy that you got it all in the month of May.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just a real prime recruiting month. There was this one time um, I had gotten, a few of those offers back to back. Like, with I had like three different offers all within like a 24-hour period, and it was just insane. You just
That's
kind of get
crazy.
coaches calling you or like, hey, give me a call. Um, or they're like, hey, what's your schedule looking like? Give me a call later on. They'll shoot me their number. And it actually all started through Twitter as well. Most coaches will direct message you through Twitter, and so that's how like that'll start.
So Twitter's where like it starts with the coaches contacting you,
Right. Yeah, definitely. So obviously through your coaches and everything, but when it's to you personally, it usually started through Twitter.
and then like you get on the phone with them.
Right. Yeah. 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 So you kind of chat back and forth. They would say they saw your highlights or whatever, or maybe they've been watching you for a while, and then they would just kind of be like, shoot me a call when you get the chance, or what time are you free, um, and stuff like that. Like whenever I had an offer from Northern Iowa, they were like, hey, like what time are you getting up in the morning? Because their time zone was different, and I was like, oh, I'm getting up at 5 o'clock this like our time, and so 5 o'clock in the morning I wake up. Um, he shoots me a text around maybe 5:15 or so, and I give him a call, and he offered me that morning.
That's crazy.
No, yeah, it was cool though. Yeah, it was just kind of funny because I get it, and it's early in the morning or whatnot, and then I tell my parents because I'm heading out for school since I had to make that hour commute, and then my parents are still half asleep. I'm like, hey, like I just got another offer. They're just half asleep, like what, like what's going on? That's funny.
They're still half asleep when you told me you got another offer.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty funny.
What made you pick San Jose State?
Um, shoot, just there was a lot of things. The staff was really cool, um, and they kind of rode with me through the entire recruiting process. And a lot of schools will try and get you to commit right away or force you to commit right away. But San Jose never really did that with me. Um, they just kind of kept in touch with me throughout the entire process. Would always check in with me, and were never like, hey, you should, really think about committing now, like all that type of stuff. They just kind of they let me, discuss it with my family and knew how big of a decision it was for me. So yeah, just the coaching staff, the relationships I built with them, the offense obviously was a huge part of it. Their offense was real similar to the offense we ran at Memorial. So it just all seemed super fitting.
So it was all like a good fit for you all around, and the coaches, they never like pressured you to commit right away. They
Right.
let you until you knew your decision.
Yep. Right. Absolutely.
What is your training schedule like in college football?
Uh, too. I guess it kind of varies depending on what part of the season or off season it is. Um, so right now, as I mentioned, we're just kind of doing we're doing conditioning and weightlifting. We'll have meetings in the morning before that, and then sometimes we'll also do PRPs, which are player ramp practices, since the coaches can't be out there during this time period. Um, so right now that's pretty much what it looks like. Uh, but like when it gets real busy is during fall camp. And if there's any other athletes watching this, like they'll know too. Like, oh yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, just during fall camp, it's just constant, meetings and practices and workouts and lifting weights and all that stuff. And it's a constant go. And then on top of that, coming in, there's required study hall. So you have study hall hours, and then your classes. You have to make time for that. So during fall camp is when it gets really busy.
So during fall camp, you have like a jam-packed schedule, and like you have to make space for school also and everything. And then you got like meetings constantly in practice.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and it's pretty much the life of a college athlete. And I feel, for most college students, the biggest thing is time management. You have to be able to manage your time and create space for different things and prioritize, different things, whatever it may be.
So it's just like how you manage your time.
Yep, absolutely.
What has been your biggest learning experience from college football?
Man, there's definitely been a few, um, from the relationships I've made, um, to the knowledge I've learned of the game. That's a big thing. Is the knowledge I've learned from college football is just way different than high school football, because a big part of it is not only the speed but the types of defenses that there are. Because you'll see a few defenses in high school, but in college defenses, there's just a multitude of different variations of just one coverage, and so it's crazy the amount of defenses that you see in college. But you said the biggest learning experience,
Mm-hmm.
man. I would say enjoy it while it's here, because it goes fast. So I've learned just to kind of be in the moment. Um, whatever it may be, whether I'm with some of my teammates on the field or off the field, um, just kind of wherever I'm at, just to be in the moment and enjoy that moment and really take it in, rather than getting your mind scrambled and thinking about what you have next, and what's my next homework assignment, what are we doing for practice tomorrow, all this stuff. You know what I mean? Just really take it in for what it is.
It's like just enjoy the moment that you're in right now, since it won't always be there.
Right, absolutely, because it goes fast. Like, for high school, I still remember, being that freshman kid at Exeter, And now I'm already 2 years out of high school, so it's just it goes by quick. And college is the same way. You know what I mean? I'm already 2 years into college, and I just felt like I was, a freshman coming in. Um, so no, it definitely goes fast, and that's the biggest lesson I feel like I've learned is to enjoy it while it's there.
So it goes by fast, like how you said you're already 2 years into college.
Right, exactly.
What kind of role are you looking to have this upcoming season?
Um, I mean, I just try to be the best teammate possible. Um, definitely lead this group of guys and get them to all know that they can trust me on and off the field. They can trust me with helping them out learning the plays and whatnot. They could also trust me, off the field, whatever it may be. Whether it's helping them out with schoolwork or financially, whatever it may be. Just them knowing I have their back whenever they need it.
So just to be the best teammate that you can be and like that your teammates can trust you like more than just football.
Right, exactly.
Who is your favorite football player as a kid?
Oh, my favorite football player as a kid, man. Um, I don't know if I could pinpoint one. There's definitely a few guys, Um, one of the football players I loved watching the most as a kid were exciting guys like Michael Vick or Johnny Manziel in college. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because they were just always doing some super exciting. Um, but yeah, I couldn't really pinpoint one. I loved watching those guys, but I'm a huge Drew Brees fan, Russell Wilson fan. They're all short quarterbacks like me. Um, and now Kyler Murray's there too. Um, yeah, I really couldn't pinpoint one. There's a lot of guys I definitely enjoy watching.
See, like a lot of guys, like you can't pick just one. You like a lot of those like exciting cracks like Johnny Manziel and Michael Vick.
Right. I think for everybody, those type of quarterbacks are the most exciting to watch. But as I've gotten older, you see certain things of why Tom Brady's the best. People think he's boring. You know what I mean? But what they call boring, I'd call consistent. You know what I mean? He's super consistent in what he does and how he attacks everything. Um, and it's worked for him obviously, and that's why he's the best.
Just like how consistent like they are, like and like you said, that's why Tom Brady's the best.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you try to model your game after anyone?
Um, I mean, I would say there's a few different guys I try to model my game after. But I definitely feel like I can move a little better than Tom Brady. But but no, I mean, I guess yeah. There's a few different guys. You know what I mean? Like everybody bags on short quarterbacks, saying they can't see over the line and stuff like that. But then when they say that type of stuff, it's like then how does Drew Brees does it, or how does Drew Brees do it? How does Russell Wilson do it? You know what I mean? Like how do short guys like that do it? You know what I mean? So it's definitely possible, and they're killing it. You know what I mean? They're killing it in the league. But no, I guess I would say I take different parts of my game from from a bunch of different quarterbacks in the league. Tom Brady on his consistency. He doesn't try to do too much, and you could see in a lot of his game-winning drives, a lot of them were actually just small check down throws, and it's there's not a lot of big throws he takes. Maybe one or two intermediate throws, but a lot of those are just small check downs because he's not letting the game be too big for him and not trying to force anything. So in that aspect, Tom Brady and his brain and how well he prepares, Aaron Rodgers, super quick release, You know what I mean? Able to extend plays. And there's a few different quarterbacks like that, like Russell Wilson as well. Um, you know, just all those type of guys. So I would say I take a few different guys for sure.
So you like to take a few different guys and then implement it into your game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like I said, like be consistent, like Tom Brady.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He doesn't try and do too much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely why he's the best and what I really like about him as well.
What is your major?
So coming into college, my major was business. Um, but more recently, I had just switched my major into psychology. Um, you know, I just find it super interesting. You know, just how the brain works, different ways to learn and whatnot. And you know, quarterback, it's you know probably the most mental position that there is, and you're just using your brain all the time. And uh, so I definitely want to go into psychology. You know, maybe off of that, go into sports psychology, because it's just huge the different techniques and stuff that are used for you know athletes in general, and you know their mental health and everything like that.
So like you were business at first, but then you switched over to psychology, and you like that, and then maybe like eventually take it to sports psychology, like go more into the sports field of it.
Right, absolutely. Because I definitely want to stay around sports, you know, for as long
Mm-hmm.
as I can. And so yeah, so I definitely like to go into sports psychology that way I can.
How would you describe yourself off the field?
Um, man, I mean, off the field, um, I guess I would describe myself as, you know, genuine, just trying to be myself, and um, you know, not trying to be someone I'm not, being caring, just caring about everybody you see, you know what I mean, and no matter who it may be, um, you know, whether it's people you love or you know just people you don't even know. There's always a way that you can show love um, in everything that you do, and you know, for homeless people, you're not just walking by them. You know what I mean? You even if you don't have any money or whatever, water, whatever. You know what I mean? You could even just give them a hello. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Just kind of being genuine and just showing love, kind of, in everything you do. So I guess um, that's how I try to be off the field, and I just try to be as genuine as possible and as loving, caring as I can.
Just like caring and show love to other people.
Right, absolutely, because you never know what somebody is going through. You know, everybody has a backstory, no matter who they are. You know, if you think someone grew up wealthy, you know, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. They could be going through something completely different because money doesn't solve everybody's problems, and um, that's why I'm so deeply rooted in my faith and in God and Jesus Christ. Um, just showing love in others it's just huge. You, like I said, you never know what anybody's going through, and a simple hi or hello could really go a long way.
Mm-hmm. Like you don't know the backstory of the other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then the last question I have is for fun. You get to take any three NFL players to dinner. They can be past or present. Who are you taking?
Ooh, any three NFL players, past or present. So I definitely got to do Tom Brady. Um, man, let's go Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. Oh, you know what? Oh, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and I would say someone like Jerry Rice, because he wasn't the most athletic guy, but he got the job done and he was a worker. That's for sure.
probably the best receiver of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the crazy part is, there's guys that are so much more athletic than he is, and just I think it was just his craft, the way he tried to perfect his craft and went to work every day. I don't think there were very many people who worked as hard as him.
So like his hard work that he put in. And then you got Tom Brady, who's probably, in my opinion, is the best quarterback of all time. And
Mm-hmm.
then Russell Wilson, who's also a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Right, absolutely. And a big part of his is just kind of how rooted he is in his faith, but not only that, how also him being a short quarterback and him having to go through a lot of those same obstacles that I've had to go through.
And like he has a bad line.
You said what?
He kind of has a bad line.
I mean, I guess you could say that. It's there's a lot of dudes in the NFL, and you definitely gotta get it out quick, and so I mean, I wouldn't say he has a bad line, but there at times he definitely has to get it out quick, and he knows how to do that.
Mm-hmm. And him and Mahomes, they had similar starts to their career because they both lost in the conference championship their rookie year. Then they won the Super Bowl, then lost to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's one of those like crazy stats that you see.
Yeah, no, definitely. That is crazy for sure.
All right, thank you for joining me today. Those are all the questions I have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed it.
Anytime, thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, you too.